Does anyone else just sometimes sit back and think that if the author of Too Many Losing Heroines was to make either an episode, a miniseries, or a full-on prequel series of the nurse and teacher when they were in high school, we would absolutely end up with something that would be more degenerate than prison school and make prison school look tame. Whatever they did when they were in school, man, I don't know. I don't even know if it could air on TV. But leave it to the author to make an anime original episode written by the original author and somehow make it flow like just so perfectly, like it always existed in the flow of the story. But between the slurping of whatever boyfriend and girlfriend were doing, the innuendos of corn dogs talking about indecency being thrown in the foreground, to Nook apparently taking Anna's innocence, as she so elegantly puts it. I really would love to have a sit down with the author and just truly break down their mentality, because it's honestly impressive how absolute deranged and degenerate this show truly is, but it keeps it hidden. It's like the hood slightly popped on your vehicle and you see Satan's asshole staring back at you, but somehow you think the show's actually pretty sweet more often than not. But Satan be winking at us. I have full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full and good thoughts to any of these Too Many Losing Heroine episodes over there exclusively, I think it's just a matter of when we get a confirmation for Season 2, not an if. I think most likely what ended up happening was they made this with the assumption it was going to be a one-season show, and very quickly the popularity of this most likely showed the production committee we can have more. Definitely a very good stopping point. A few shows this season had very sequel bait, go read the manga endings, and those can be infuriating because you never know if you're gonna get more. If you were to end it here, you feel pretty good. Like, obviously it's not over, but like, it's kind of like, it gives you everything you need. But for being an episode that just, it didn't really have anything to prove, they came out swinging. No one thinks whatever this girl's problem is. I don't know if she's always drunk. I don't know if she's clinically brain dead. I don't know if she just is an alien in human skin. But no one probably thought she actually killed someone. But the framing definitely had me confused. The lighting immediately, I wanted to make a joke like, oh, it kind of feels like a horror setting. But it's like, no, they're not going to do that. We've already had dress up at one point. No, like, they made a Higurashi scene with that one. And, okay, sure, liquid fertilizer, whatever she said that was. But man, the lighting coming in and my boy just seeing, he saw Grandma at the pearly gates in that moment. He knew he wasn't going to make it out alive. And just fan-freaking-tastic. That's probably her best moment yet. I truly don't understand this character. I'm convinced the teacher is always drunk, but hell, she might be drunk too most of the time. They never really abused the nurse's perversions either. I think you could probably count on two hands how many times she truly had an out-of-pocket moment. It's just enough to remind you that, like, she's a freaking weirdo. But at the same time, you're kind of waiting for the next, here's Johnny moment. So, when Nook and Anna are in the Ferris wheel cart thing, whatever, cabin, the framing makes it looks like they're making out. They're not, but like it looks like it. This, as I say, we as an anime fandom will collectively take her at face value and say, yeah, that's fine and funny. But could you imagine, just think of it, if this was a fat old man character? Or even just a guy character in general. Completely different reaction from a majority of the fandom. We are double standards as it comes. She's literally across the freaking... She's paying for the like, this is someone who is seemingly hired by a school to look after children. They ain't no grown-ass adults yet. And she's spying on what she thinks are them making out. And the way she defends her actions with this teacher is how people looking in, it makes it more spicy. And it's like, I'm telling you, if we ever got even an OVA, one episode OVA of them in school, I'm pretty sure it would not be going on a Crunchyroll or sites like that. It would be going on a more adult-oriented website, if you catch my drift, because they ain't normal. Now, There was some pretty insane moments, like on seeing these two just as soon as I watch with headphones, right? I'm hearing slurping sound effects like they're going down on something, and the visuals didn't disappoint there. But the whole idea that we tie back to the whole fake boyfriend BS, like that's basically the crutch of this episode, is they go to this like amusement park type area. Seems like there's some rides, some attractions, also some museum stuff. Pretty cool looking area, and they just take a bunch of pictures. But ultimately, it's kind of like it brings the cast together for one last hurrah and sends them off on a pretty positive note, while also reminding you that the show at like episode 3 or 4, I forget which one, the whole big thing was that, like, someday it's implied these two are gonna get together. There's a lot of losing heroines, mind you, in this show, but at the end of the day, that was seemingly what they were implying at the start. So I think for a final episode, even if I think Anna is the worst of the girls, I don't hate her character, mind you. I think she's a great character for the show. I just think looking at the other options that have been implied, like, their personalities are so much better. I mean, I don't really recall Kamari looking at us saying, can we borrow your friend to fake a boyfriend, after making it seem like she was going to ask you. Like, it's kind of a bitchy thing to do, but is what it is. At the end of the day, they remind you where it's ultimately going, but they do it in a way that still lets the rest of the cast flourish and continue to exist as they have. Just a very satisfying episode. I completely forgot we were getting this episode. I was under the assumption we ended last week. I just walked in today. I was like, oh yeah, everything's over. And then I got blessed with this getting uploaded, and I was like, oh shit, one more to go. They made a season 2. I would gladly watch it. I think we will get a season 2. It's just a matter of when, not if. But if for whatever reason this is all we got, I don't look at this as like a wasted opportunity. Like, I felt like I grew a lot with these characters, and it's honestly impressive what they were able to do with characters like Lemon, Kamari, Anna. Like, they really pushed their characters in such a short amount of time, and it really felt like we just got through the prologue, and it'd be interesting to see where the actual meat of the story would go, given how much it deconstructed the kind of rom-com genre. I'm very glad I checked this out. I'm still blown away. Like, this show just didn't look interesting from a poster image, and yeah, they really impress. Very impressive to say too, because there is some well-produced stuff this season. It's insane to think that a school series actually was one of the most consistent and visually impressive shows of the season. Like, I think the best way to sell it is so many times you have, like, with good school animation, you're like, okay, yeah, like, they move smoothly, but it's almost like they had good animation, and then they just kept adding more in-between frames to the animation, and it made it feel so freaking realistic and expressive. Thoughts down below. What did you think of the last episode? How much do you want that prequel backstory, like I mentioned? Because even if we had to go to a different type of site, I think we need to see what they truly went through. Thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. As said, today we got Jeff, Dawn, Chemist, Fluid Druid, Squeleton, more Rudd, Shadow Cyber Demon, Brandon Logren, and we also have Jessica Kahn. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.